Helping my daughter with contamination, here's 3 things I wish I hadn't done. Number 1, I wish I'd looked for signs earlier or identified signs earlier, because looking back with hindsight, I know hindsight's a great thing, but there were some signs to indicate that she could have had OCD, and I should have known better because I've got OCD traits myself. So I should have spotted. There were things like she was starting to wear a hoodie to bed with a hood up. She was also starting to take some cleaning wipes with her when she was going away on breaks with friends. She was claiming at the time it was because her friend was a bit fussy about having things clean. But looking back, what she was inadvertently doing was recruiting a friend to carry out compulsions for her, so that the highlight then wasn't on her doing them. So number 1 is that I would always recommend look out for early signs, because it is very difficult to spot with OCD, and sadly with contamination OCD it can usually be a lot worse before you spot it. But just look if there are some telltale signs there. As I say, are they keeping areas of their body covered up, maybe for fear of becoming contaminated? Are they cleaning surfaces, particularly around certain times? Are they avoiding desks in school? Are they avoiding people? Are they trying to get you to not have people come into the house? Are they asking you to wipe things down or to hand sanitize or to carry out some form of compulsion? So that's the first thing to look out for. Are there any signs? Is there a pattern of something they're doing that could imply that they've got OCD? If so, obviously seek medical help straight away, because your GP will be able to refer you then for more specialist help. Number 2, the second thing that I wish I hadn't done was to class OCD as being part of her. Oh, it's so-and-so's OCD, or she can't do this because of OCD. What I now know I should have done is I should have separated OCD from my daughter much sooner, because OCD isn't part of your child. They're not born with it. All right, it can pass through the genes, but a lot of it is from learned behaviour and from sort of carrying on doing something without it being addressed straight away. So as I say, that would be the second tip I would give. The third tip would be that I wish I hadn't got recruited, because when OCD asked me to do something, I would just say, how high, how high do you want me to jump? You would be amazed the things that I was actually doing just to keep my daughter calm, but really inadvertently was keeping OCD calm. So that's my 3 tips for helping a child with contamination OCD, and 3 things to avoid doing. As I say, whatever you do, try and look out for early signs. Don't ignore them like I did. I put it down to being a teenage thing because that's what she told me it was. Oh, it's just a phase, Mum. I believed it. Just make sure that's not the case and there's not something else going on. Number 2, separate OCD from your child. Get them to call it a character. Create a character. Call her a name. I call mine Hank. Whatever it takes, just Mr. Bossy, Mrs. Bossy, Mr. Dictator, whatever it takes for your child to separate. And then if they're asking you for reassurance, which is one form of recruiting you, just say to Hank, I'm not going to talk to him today, he's being silly. If you want to talk to him, that's fine, but I'm not going to talk to him, because that's one way of helping your child as well slowly take on board that this is something separate to them and something they've got a power to speak up to. So that is, to spot signs, separate OCD and create a character out of it. And thirdly, don't get recruited. Distracted instead. If they're asking you to do something fun. Change it to an engaging conversation instead. Or say, oh, do you want to play cards? Do you want to play a board game? Or should we go cycling? Anything that's going to distract them from that thought in that moment. So I hope that's helped. I'm also on a mission now to help other parents and to try and help them to deter them from going through what I went through by doing the right things rather than the wrong things, so you're not feeding it. So there's a few things that I offer. The one is my Mind Monsters children's books, and they are stories for children aged 5 to 8 to try and help children speak up to intrusive thoughts. And it also teaches them how words and actions have impacts, because very often OCD can be triggered by bullying. That was the case with my daughter. So there is a little message in the book as well about the importance of kindness, as well as helping them to stand up to compulsions and to thoughts. I've also written a follow-up book. My first book's Hank the Hungry Monster, and Hank is OCD. And then I've got a second book, Trixie the Treat Monster, and she takes on Hank because she represents distraction and exposure therapy in tackling OCD. So she sort of meets Hank head on, and she tries to intercept his commands going through. I also do workshops. I work with Elemental Health Limited to deliver to health professionals and to school counsellors. So you can check my workshops out there on Elemental Health UK. But I also do my own workshops to help parents to tackle and to support children with OCD. You can find all these details on my website, which is www.themindmonsters.co.uk. What I would add is that sadly my books are not available for delivery outside the UK, but you can still purchase them on Amazon, the Book Depository, Barnes & Noble and all the other leading book retailers out there. But if you're living in the UK and you purchase on my website, I will personally sign the book for you with a personalised message, and I'll also give you a free character bookmark as well. And as I said, there are workshops I provide for professionals and parents as well. I've also got some freebies on my website as well you can download to use with your children to help them with their anxiety issues. So I hope that's helped on helping your child to tackle contamination OCD and any other subtype of OCD. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and to hit the like if this has proved useful, and I'll see you on the next video.